All right, good afternoon. Welcome back to Three of Swords Gaming. We're going to continue to work through our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough. We're almost done in terms of playing through the entire story as it is right now. Now, about the time we finish End of Dragons, we're probably going to be getting close to Secrets of the Obscure launching. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. You know, everyone's waiting for it the same, I guess. So right now we are in pursuit of Anka, who is apparently an imminent threat to attack, damage, destroy the what is essentially the power grid for this city, the city of New Kainang. And so that's clearly of concern to us. And of course, we're working with June on this on behalf of the Empress. So there's not only the like practical implications of why we're going about this, but also kind of the obligation we have because we made a commitment upon our arrival here in Cantho that we were going to do that. Almost as a means of making up for the fact that we arrived in an unannounced fashion and thus offended the folks here. Um, Canthons being something of a isolationist culture. Excuse me. So that's where we currently are at. Now, what we need to do right now is, prior to gaining access to one of June's power plants, we first have to basically get spun up on a couple things. Engineer Who here is one of the folks who can give us access to that plant, so we need to help him out with a problem, and then he's going to grant access, but then also we need to come over here and meet Yao at the Jadebot service station to get certified on our use of Jadebots, because as you'll remember in the last episode, we just acquired the Jadebot capability on this character, the Jadebots being a character bound thing versus an account bound thing, which is weird, but it is what it is. So we have these two things to take care of before we gain access to Power Plant. Neither one is particularly difficult. The Jadebot thing will take a minute, just because there are a few tasks to complete that are associated with that, but in general, pretty easy chores this time around in an effort to gain access to the next instance that we're actually going to play through. Now, they do an interesting thing with the hero points and the story in End of Dragons where they incorporate several of the hero points into the story, thus forcing you to do a few of them. It's only like two or three, it's not a bunch, but I don't recall in Path of Fire or Heart of Thorns that being a thing where they actually included the hero points in the story progression. Alright, so we helped him solve his problem with this volatile spark. Can we get the passcode now? Yeah. All right. That's what kind of engineer is like leery of touching anything more. It's kind of his job.
Now you just need to head to the Jadebot service station. Get yourself up to industry standards. I'll explain when you get there.
Industry standards. All right. Well, we are not at industry standards right now, and in this extremely bureaucratic culture, apparently that's very important. Um, so let's head that direction. For the folks who say that the city here is like difficult to navigate, I will acknowledge that it is a little bit of a maze and can be frustrating to get from point A to point B. I think that's more true if either you don't have like a sky scale in this case, or if you don't know all the zip lines and how to use them to navigate effectively. I don't know all the zip lines. I certainly don't. I do know that you can navigate the city considerably faster by utilizing them effectively. They did. I don't recall it being there on launch, but at some point they did add a feature to the zip lines where when you approach one, let's see here. There's some around here somewhere. All right, here you go. It should give us like an indicator on the map of where this thing actually heads to. See that? So that kind of little tweak that they added, because again, I don't remember that being there when End of Dragons rolled out, does make the zip lines considerably easier to use. Oh, Yao, I see you showed up in hologram form.
Hey, hello? This thing on? Oh, good. Sorry I can't be there in person. It's been one of those days. Vital asset, after all. If you're gonna be poking around the power stations, you need to know how to operate a J-bot. Ministry of Labor Safety Standards. I don't make the rules. The bots are crucial for maintenance work. I have to go. Things are getting pretty out of control over here. I leave you in Alora's capable hands. Alora meaning Junlai Alora. J-bot technician. She's another engineer. She's... you'll figure it out.
What does that mean? You'll figure it out. I don't. All right, I guess we'll figure it out. So I don't love Yao as a character. I think because they are like pretty off-putting. They're not really approachable or charismatic in any way, shape, or form. But I think that's by design. So I guess, if that's what ArenaNet was aiming for, they got exactly what they wanted out of that. Alora, are you going to be any better?
Welcome to the first Garden of Enlightened Thought. Blah, blah, blah. This place is a little bougie, eh? You a friend of Yao's?
Yeah, I am. I am pretty great. Okay, well, I mean, congratulations on that. Yao sent me. Told me to set you up with a J-bot. Talk with the Zunlai reps, learn more about each demo station. Should be pretty easy. I'm here if you have questions. Okay, and it is pretty easy. Essentially, this is a tutorial for a feature that, the studio wanted the players to really embrace as a meaningful mastery. Probably because they knew that both fishing and skiffs were going to be really simple in their implementation and only drastically change the game for the players that wanted to enjoy them, because they don't change gameplay significantly in any way whatsoever. Like, unless we choose to do so as like part of our 0-0 thing, we're not going to fish again. Like, there's really no reason to, unless we're going to like chase achievements or something. I certainly don't remember any point where we have to fish again. And the skiffs, like, they incorporated them into the story. If they hadn't incorporated them into the story, we wouldn't use them. We would use Skimmer or Skyscale or something else. So I think the studio, realizing that neither of those masteries really add a lot to gameplay in terms of like necessity, they want us to view the J-bots as like an important part of actual gameplay. Are they an important part of our actual gameplay? I think that's pretty debatable, but they're going to show many of the things that J-bots can do right here in this little tutorial. Why don't you tell me what all I can do with them? A key part of our infrastructure. Grab power from nearby charging stations, use it to power up floating lanterns, spar with training mechs, or repair fountains. So the ever-important task of repairing fountains is now enabled by these Jade bots. You know what? We're not even going to ask what we do with the Jade charging station because, like, it's so self-explanatory. Why are people fighting those mechs? It's a demo. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's great, I guess. Anything else I should know? Some of these people, the worst. Okay, well, I kind of don't care that much. Like, that's a you problem, not a me problem. They're not bothering me at the moment. Okay, so we got some tasks up here. J-bot training in general. So we got a green bar, but this is not one of those like really obnoxious green bars where we have to do 715 events to fill the bar. As we do the other things that it like lists here, that bar is going to fill up. So the first thing we'll do is draw 2 charges. Do we have the mastery where we can hold 4 charges at one time? I don't think we do. Nah, that would be like the next one that we would be working on. Except that at the moment we're working on Arborstone. What do we got? 10 mastery points? Yeah, we'll finish the Arborstone thing. Alright, so let's grab some batteries. There's one. There's 2. Alright, already finished that task. Let's check out the transporters. So there's some transporters over here kind of by the walls. And of course they're conveniently marked on the map and so forth. So I think the idea was that they, in part with between zip lines and transporters and stuff, that the idea of masteries changing the way we move around the map would continue to be a theme, just as it was with like gliding and mounts. But it doesn't feel nearly as impactful. Like, I don't know, some of the teleporters on the map move you a significant distance, but many of them, it's like that you could have achieved the same thing just by falling off of a ledge and gliding, or something like that. So I it's fine. It is what it is, I guess. Okay. Ride zip lines. Sure. I will 100% do that. We'll start down here at the bottom. Because that's one of the easiest ways to do it.
With June line
Alright.
dates and
Up. And up again. So you can see if you didn't have like a flying mount or something, this would be a really efficient way to get around the map. But of course, if you don't have the, if, the particular character you're on doesn't have the ability to hold charges because that is character bound, then it doesn't do anything to help you. Okay, so light floating lanterns using Jade Tech power charges. So what that's referring to is actually using the Jade Bot. This is one of the more interesting things that they gave us with the Jade Bots, is the ability to actually take remote control of the Jade Bot, allowing you to pilot it independently. Yeah. And so now we are the little Jade Bot. That is like a cool thing. And the Jade Bot can do, a number of like somewhat interesting things. For example, we can come over here and actually get a charge as the Jade Bot, so we don't need to like, become the player character again to do that. And they will incorporate this into the story later. There will be a story chapter or instance where we like do a bunch of things as a Jade Bot, and in particular, we have to like move a whole bunch of charges around. Once you've done that instance once or twice, it starts to feel like a bit of a labor. Like it's just kind of busy work, but definitely on your first playthrough, it's a fairly interesting instance to go through because it gives you kind of something that's relatively unique for story instances. All right, what do we got left here? We go spar with the training mechs. You can see our heart's like almost halfway done as well, so certainly if you were playing through on the first time and you wanted your character to kind of complete a lot of things and you wanted to advance your account, then I would encourage you when you're done with the green bar to just finish the heart. We're not going to because we've already done all this stuff before on 0-0. We'll do a duo of mechs. But, it would make sense to complete the heart here under, like different circumstances. That's not good. Alright.
Anything else, Yao?
Should be able to walk right on in. If anyone gives you trouble, just tell them who gave you the go-ahead. The main entrance is across the canal from Ministry headquarters. Hard to miss. You'll be free to talk shit about anyone you'd like in no time.
Oh, Yao?
My?
Sorry, sorry if I did anything to... You're an amazing engineer. Self-taught, right? I can't even comprehend how you could pull that off.
I am, yes.
If June saw anything in me, she probably thinks the world of you. Just bad at saying it.
Apology acknowledged.
Just a friendly reminder that this is still an open frequency.
I know!
I don't know what they gain from that like little bit of dialogue, to be honest. I guess we get further insight on Mitrin's like contrition. I guess that's great. I don't know that inserting like awkwardness is like something that the players like super wanted. Like, hey, you know what would make this story great if there was a lot more awkwardness. I don't know that anybody ever said that about a game where the storylines are sometimes like awkward anyway.
This facility's under lockdown, I'll have to ask you to... What's she doing here?
Why wouldn't I be?
I just assumed you'd be busy cavorting with your gang of vicious sky pirates.
Wow, that got around fast.
It's called Hollow News. Travels at the speed of light.
Okay, look. We actually have permission to be here. Engineer Who should have already sent word.
Is that so?
I mean, you certainly can't blame, like, Zoonlight people for not wanting my train
So
around.
it is.
Right?
We'll be keeping an eye on you, rest assured.
Yeah, no, that'd be appropriate.
Welcome to the Junlai power plant.
All right, let's take a look around. Remember, it's not just sabotage we're looking for.
I thought that's exactly what we were looking for.
Commander's right. Whatever happened to Yao's bots by the docks, it wasn't sabotage.
I think it might have something to do with Detective Rama and his big dumb hat. You hear that, Rama? I just accused your hat of high treason. What do you have to say about that? It worked. Commander, I am pleased to say I have officially encrypted our comms network. Next on my list, boosting our signal range to continental Tyria.
Glad to hear it. So, do you really know why Jade Tech is turning on everyone? Or were you just testing the comms?
Only theories, but there's one thing they all have in common. Their power source.
We'll head up to the control room, see what we can dig up.
Alright, so we get some theories here from Tommy, and then of course we get the fact that now our ubiquitous backpack walkie-talkie is encrypted. Don't know how she did that without actually getting the device on our side of it. But you know, I mean, she's a child prodigy, right? I guess we just accept that for what it is.
The Junlai distribution network. Jade comes in from the east, gets charged up, then ends up here.
Where's it getting charged? If there's an issue with the power source, that's where we should start.
June is awfully cagey about that step. Keeps bringing up proprietary Junlai technology. Ugh, very dissatisfying.
Still, if this is the next step in the chain, there might be something useful here.
Look around. There must be some sort of scanning device the staff use to get energy readings.
Alright. And I guess magically, like, through our backpack communicator, Timey is going to get these readings as well.
Found one. Looks like it's tuned to the Jade batteries.
We use those for quality control, yeah. Should get us all the readings we'll need.
Imagine a world where you could, like, obtain some piece of data and immediately, like, communicate that, I guess, via, like, your cell phone to someone else. Like, your cell phone would just naturally interface with, like, various work-related data measurement devices. Like, I guess that's what Timey has going on here, right? Oh, we wanted to go down.
Coming in now. We'll need a few different sets before I can run any tests. The power cell structure, though, how the energy's managed? Alchemy. It is staggeringly brilliant.
Yeah, she is.
Your crush is getting a little obvious here, Mai. Alright, more batteries. More batteries to scan. Timey needs more data. Why does this guy have, like, a bubble above his head? What's up, buddy? Who are you? Well, I'm here to run some scans on those batteries over there. It's going to be tough to do with those Jade sleds malfunctioning like they are. Alright, well, I guess we'll just jump from sled to sled, right? Is that what we're going to do? 100%, that's what we're going to do. So the idea behind these, like, you know, this whole thing that's happening here, there's an achievement. In fact, is it still active? Yeah, so we actually still have that active. Presumably I botched it up at some point, on 0 to 0 when I did this part. Or did I even do this part in 0 to 0? I might not have even done this on 0 to 0. I don't know that we needed to go this far into the story. Oh, I think we did, because I think we unlocked Arborstone. So the easiest time to make the jump is when you're jumping like against the grain of their movement. So when this one is running across this one, that's when we'll make the jump, because our jump is going to carry us towards it instead of away from it. Ooh, I almost didn't make it there.
Okay.
All right, there we go. We got the
Coming
achievement.
in loud and, well, not loud, but definitely clear. Wait, what? What is... I don't... Hang on. I need to check... Hang on.
Timing. We're all standing here.
Sorry, I need you to get one more scan for me. Just to make sure.
Make sure of what?
I can't tell you until I know for certain, because my hypothesis is frankly outrageous. It's entirely possible I'm wrong.
Are you?
No, not a chance.
We'll get you that scan as soon as possible.
All right, back upstairs for that last scan.
Tiny, right?
Oh, are we just talking into other people's backpacks
Is
now, Mai?
June around? There's
Here, let
something
me
I need to
stand
say to her.
right here for you.
Well, she's actually pretty busy right now. I could pass along a message.
No, that's okay. Thanks.
All right, you done talking into my ass? Let's go. So it's one of the kind of more poorly written parts of the story of End of Dragons is this Mai being very, very sorry thing, and I don't mind that it's a thing. Like it, you know, they're trying to develop this character and change the narrative from when we previously saw Mai all the way back in season 1. It's just it feels like the clumsiest part of the End of Dragons story, very possibly.
A little longer now.
Timey, power just went out here. Scans are on hold until we can get it back up.
Poor Spike. Seen a lot of these lately. You'll need to find the junction boxes and reset them manually.
Easy enough. We'll just... Jade Sparks! At least this time there aren't any mechs nearby for them to possess.
Yes, I guess that's a good thing. Now this part, honestly, like at least for me, I find this to be surprisingly challenging sometimes. Because usually the story is just like, you know, face roll everything. Although there's certainly been times when that hasn't been the case. There were parts of season 3, you know, where there was some good challenge.
Mai, you wanted to speak with June earlier.
That was nothing.
Let me guess. You want to tell her how sorry you are. How you screwed up. And that you'll do anything to make it up to her?
Wow. Detective Delacroix's famous powers of deduction. Truth is, I don't know if I can make it up to June. She's not the forgiving type.
Alright. So we got little puzzles for the junction boxes. We gotta watch like over here or up over here. Whatever it is that the colors pop up and then emulate the sequence. I find it interesting that they chose not to have an achievement where you like get them all wrong without messing anything up. Maybe they felt like that's a somewhat frustrating mechanic that not every player would embrace. No idea. No idea if that's the case or not.
Strength of the pack. I'll break you down. Clear the air. You sick?
These JTech malfunctions. I have to say, not really Anka's style.
She has a style.
Well, Scarlet inspired a lot of people. She inspired me. I know you think she's
A goddamn murderer.
a bit eccentric. But she stood up to Mordremock the only way she knew how. At least, that's how she started. Democratization through chaos. That was Scarlet's style. And now it's Anka's.
So there is one of these puzzles in, what is it, Dragon's End map, for a mastery point where it's actually a relatively long sequence that can be, rather challenging, particularly because you have to move through it pretty quick or it times out. So like you can't just sit there and like write the sequence on a post-it note and then kind of read it off and follow it, because that will probably time you out. Unless you're faster at, like, reading and writing than I am, apparently.
What? Just ignore me.
Alright, so I think what we're meant to...
You've got a predilection for attaching yourself to exactly one kind of woman. Got a pretty good picture of your mom going, but that's no excuse. Scarlet's acts were heinous, and so were yours.
Yeah, you said that. I can't change who I was, but I won't give up on who I want to be.
And who, pray tell, is that?
I don't know. Someone better.
It's good. Just more development of that whole thing. Alright, we got it.
Well, everything's back on. Go ahead and run that final scan when you're ready.
So if you were to ask me, like, what would be preferable over all the dialogue that we hear, like Maitrin professing how sorry she is and like trying to endear herself to others, it would be, as I've said a number of times, like, don't tell me, show me. It would be some, that time that we spend listening to that voice acting. It could have been spent giving us gameplay where Maitrin is significant in what's happening. Now she is, to some degree, like saying she's fighting alongside of us while we go through all this, but that would have kind of been the better route.
I've cross-referenced the waveform of Jade Power with every other energy waveform I have in my record. First I checked conventional sources, Magitech, Leyline Power, usual suspects. No exact matches. The closest thing I've been able to find is, well, Aurine's. It's not perfect, but it is within the margin of error.
Aurine? But she's been with us. But she's only been here for... Even if it's true, how is that possible?
Aurine's energy signature isn't Aurine. It's the result of filtering impure dragon magic.
So wait, you're saying that all this Jade tech is powered by dragon magic?
That's what the data suggests. Maybe June found a way to extract it from ley lines after Aurine filters it?
That's not possible. June's been using this technology for years.
Commander, you should go to the other lab. I'll fill in Gorik on the way. One thing's for sure, though.
Yeah. This just got a whole lot more complicated.
Alright, so you may recall when we initially met June, we were talking with Aurine and June was there, and I said...
Yeah, you're patched in. Based on our findings, the power source of Jade Tech is some kind of dragon magic composite.
Something's fritzing up the Jade Tech.
Could be Anka. Or something else entirely.
We need a broader data set. Yo, can you get us access to the Napui lab?
Yeah, about that. These power spikes scrambled Napui's security system, so you're SOL. Hey, watch it! Stay back! Listen, I gotta tuck out. Jade Loader's about to decapitate a bystander. Good luck.
Thanks for the update, Yao. Guess we wait until they sort out this whole security mess?
We don't have time for that. The Aether Blades could be responsible for all of this.
I might have something that can help. Commander, meet me at my apartment, south of Cobble Ward.
Forgot about that. I was on my way to the lab. I forgot we got to go to Mai's apartment, which is kind of an interesting and fun thing, honestly. And to come back to the point of show me, don't tell me, like, this is the kind of thing that makes Mai more likable and kind of endears her to us a bit more, is this type of involvement versus just hearing her, like, prattle on and then hear Jory being, like, obnoxiously, like, or, you know, almost toxic in response. This, you know, is like a much better play. All right, but first we got to get there. We got to get to this apartment. Yes, and what I was saying before the dialogue popped up, when we were hanging out with Irene and June was there were a number of things that June said that I mentioned were she was concealing something from us or being downright like disingenuous and deceiving us, and that's going to start to come into focus for us now that we're advancing to this part of the story where we're learning more about what powers these Jade batteries and this Jade technology. You know, Taimi has informed us that it appears to be dragon magic. That's going to kind of come into focus over the next few instances. But it's going to take a few instances.
I'm here, Mai. Are you going to invite me in, or...
I'd love to, but apparently my shutter doors are being a little uncooperative.
Maybe they don't work in a power outage.
This is Tengu Town, Ms. Delacroix. Not a lot of trust in J-Tech. They much prefer steam power around here. Or my style, anyway. There's an engineer in the area trying to restore power. Goes by Krex. Commander, help him get the grid back up.
Aye, aye, Captain.
So kind of a little bit of a reference there to kind of the Aether Blade motif versus the Jade Tech motif, because it is more of a steampunk style versus kind of a Magitech style, sort of like the Asura of Jade Tech. Alright, hey buddy. Apparently there's a problem with the Steam stuff. You Krex, Mindtrin told me you'd help with restoring power to the grid. The grid here is finicky, power draw can't keep up with demand. If you take some of these canisters to the steam turbines, they'll get enough power in the system to redirect it where you need it. That is a weird way for the, what your draw of steam is greater than the steam produced by whatever the steam producing mechanism is. Thus, you keep pressurized canisters of steam laying around to supplement the system. Maybe you should just increase the amount of steam you produce. Mount up and deliver these pressurized steam canisters. Yeah, exactly, pressurized canisters to our steam turbines. If you need a Raptor, well, we don't. So it is good though that they provide the ability to do this. Although it's also interesting because with the release of End of Dragons, they also made it possible for like every player to get a Raptor without playing through. Okay. Now you can't develop it with the masteries the way you would, if you actually had the Pathfire expansion, but you can at least obtain a Raptor to use to. Oh, am I going the wrong way? I kind of am. I wasn't paying attention. These can be in different places depending on, they're like randomly placed, and so it's kind of a question of your luck in terms of which 3 you have to go to. They all count towards the heart as well. forget how to get to this one. I used to know how to get to this one. It's probably not the right way.
Some of the power's back.
But we got there. It was this
Need a
way.
little more
This is the way
juice.
you're supposed to do it.
Another 2 canisters should do the trick.
Attention, citizens of New Guinea. We're receiving reports of power outages across the city. Do not be alarmed. Several transportation systems have been suspended until further.
Is this our last one? I think that's our last one.
Jade is aware and acting accordingly.
And we're in business.
This better be worth it, Mai.
Alright, we'll head back over to Mai's apartment. Presumably we can get in the door now. Alright, Marjorie, before I go in there, you seem to, you seem to have something to say.
Mai says she's got something that can get us into the lab.
Mm-hmm.
You believe her?
At this point, we're out of options. I'm just along for the ride.
You mean to keep an eye on the captain?
She's had plenty of opportunities to escape. Could have ducked out when we were fighting that Jade loader. Don't know if I believe she's really changed, but I think she's serious about getting even with Anka.
Alright, well, maybe we should quit being so obnoxious all the time then? Alright, Mai's apartment. Classy joint you got here. Mai, who is this a picture of? Oh, it's like some pirate captain. Yeah, I think we've seen that before elsewhere. Is it also in a loading screen for a personal story instance? I believe it is. Okay. I don't know what you were getting out of your system with that business, but right on. Got some batteries around here, various tech things. A non-functional Jade robot thing. A cat named Horik. So remember, we presumably killed Horik way back in the day, right? During our battle with Maitrin. Unless he escaped along with her. I don't recall if, like, when we defeat him, if we actually kill him, or if he escapes with her. But that was her, like, first mate at one point, right? Presumably replaced by Anka. And then we got a cat named Slick, a cat named Terran. Was Slick one of the Aetherblade, like, Dredge who had the Slick pack in Season 1, which you can get as a backpack skin? I don't remember who Terran was. But, yeah, so our cats are named after previous... He might have been... Slick had a counterpart. It was probably Terran. Aetherblade Path of the... what's that Savari dungeon called? I forget now. Anyway, yeah... The Aetherblade Path dungeon will allow you to encounter these folks. We got some artwork here to include... I don't remember what that's from. Is this from Dragon Bash, maybe? I think this might be from Dragon Bash. Here's some something that maybe Scarlet left her. You know, a little memory of Scarlet. Okay, my turn.
Okay. Don't mind the mess.
Did a bomb go off in here?
My Jade sweeper broke, and I didn't have time to order a replacement.
I guess it's that.
No. Where the hell did it go?
I guess I'll help you find whatever it is.
Alright, so we're looking for something. There's a lot of things here that we could potentially look at. Each one has, like, their own dialogue. We got a humming device. This device whirs with some sort of internal motion, suggesting a successful energy transfer. On closer inspection, however, it smells oddly of toasted bread. Now I have a craving for toast. Is it a toaster? Don't touch it. Okay. Power core? Appears to be, at first glance, an ordinary Jade-Tech power core, but on closer inspection, there's an inscription on top that says Employee of the Month, Mikan 1844. congratulations on your winning Employee of the Month. Good job over there. The dagger and the mask. What is that about? Dagger driven through the forehead of a purist mask. Flecks of dried blood are visible along the razor-sharp blade and sturdy hilt. There seems to be no love lost between Mai and the purist. I guess even pirates have standards. Hey, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. How about you calm down? One of these things is ridiculous. Maybe it's the jury-rig battery over here. Battery appears to be modified from Zunlai Jade's design and emits a caustic red magical signature instead of the pleasing green hue of Jade Tech. The Aether Blades are why we can't have nice things. Well, Commander, I think there's a lot of reasons why we can't have nice things. Inactive battery. Jade Tech battery has been converted to use another energy source and appears to be powering something that faintly hums under the pile of discarded clothing. I probably shouldn't look any further. Alright, yeah, I'm sorry to get into your personal business, my trend. So, that's a very weird joke, because I think that what that, in theory, is like, should be obvious to everybody, right? I mentioned this during 002, like, such a weird joke for them to insert, considering how, like, squeamish they are about stuff like that most of the time. To randomly insert that into this instance is, like, a really bizarre thing. Does the audio box have anything to teach us? It resembles the other audio blade, or Aether Blade audio logs we've seen. Appears to be unused. Piece of paper sits beside the device, etched with several scratched out lines of text. I always wondered if people wrote down what they wanted to say in these.
Don't touch that.
Unusual tech. Gives off some sort of arcane energy and is warm to the touch. Perhaps it served as some kind of heating unit. But whatever energy... Okay. I think we've kind of worn out everything that we wanted to look at. Let's look at the unknown device over here. No, not the broom. The unknown device.
Is this what you were looking for?
Yes, my Imperial security badge. That will get you through any Kynan lab security, even during a blackout.
I'm sure you acquired it through entirely legitimate means.
Actually, yeah, I did. It's all I've got left that proves June used to trust me. For a little bit. I really thought I could be someone different. But you can't run from your past, can you? Anyway, take it, Commander. If it helps us stop Anka, then it's more useful in your hands.
Well, thank you, Mai. I'll meet you and Jory at the lab.
All right. So there is, I suppose, room within the story and room within their character development for that to 100% be a true thing on the part of Maitrin, right? And if it is, in fact... Wait, what? Oh, wow. I don't want to get attacked. Oh, I'm on my Raptor. I thought I was on my Sky Scale. If it is, in fact, the truth, then I suppose when you look at, like, the world of Tyria and how it works and all that business, it would make sense that the captain of the Aether Blades could not just walk away from the Aether Blades so easily, right? Generally, when you look at, like, criminal organizations like that, like street gangs and the mafia, et cetera, you kind of, you know, people make the decision to get engaged in those kind of things, and then they're kind of stuck with it, right? Like, you don't just retire from those things more often than not. Certainly some people have, and kudos to them for improving their lives, but, like, that's a hard thing for people to do, and it can be a dangerous thing for people to do. And, you know, maybe we see that reflected here in Maitrin, where she was kind of going straight and genuinely was like genuinely felt the appeal of going straight, and, you know, was putting real effort towards it and felt like she was succeeding, only to get pulled back in. Right? Certainly something that we could view as like a valid story arc, and I think that's what the studio wants us to perceive. I mentioned before how ultimately we're going to kind of get to like a redemption arc for Mai, and so we start to see that manifest here. And over the next few instances, that's going to become more pronounced, and it's going to kind of run its course. Spoiler alert, runs its course. I think Internet imagined a world with all these canals in the city, right? Like the extensive canal networks here that take you all over the city. They imagined a world where, like, a majority of the players were scooting around on their skiffs, and like the city felt bustling because that's how players navigated this map, and it would add to the ambiance of the entire map. I don't think that ever, even kind of at peak popularity, shortly after launch of End of Dragons, when players were running all over doing all sorts of things, I don't know that ever really manifested, because it just, the mounts they already had in place in the game are more efficient ways to navigate. The advantage to the skiff is that it allows you to put a whole bunch of people on your mount with you, because that's what it is, a mount, right? So it only that is only useful if you intend on doing those things with your friends, and like everybody wants to kind of get into the almost like the RP aspect of scooting around in a boat. But even if there were 5 of you going through the story together, if you wanted to get through the story as quickly as possible, all 5 of you together, then all 5 of you together would use other mounts to navigate the map faster. Alright, another power plant. Will we get more clues to what's going on with the power supply, and is it Anka or is it something else? That's kind of what we're going to try and determine. Hi, Mai. Hi, Marjorie. Ah, Gorik. Our little buddy Gorik.
Commander, Tiny caught me up. This is incredible. This is huge. Massive.
Potentially.
Yes. Potential is all it is right now. We need more data. But if these power cells use dragon magic...
It could explain how they're being corrupted. Timey, Kaith, how's Aurene doing? I'd like to get her take.
She's doing all right, but seems to be asleep. Dreaming, perhaps.
I'll bet she's doing that mental projection thing again. Aurene could be anywhere right now.
I'll bet she has an idea what's going on here.
Maybe, but in the meantime we can collect hard data right here in this lab. Tiny?
Yeah, I need you to scan a few more batteries. They're basically off the assembly line when they get there. Now that we know what we're looking for, I should be able to isolate the energy signature after a few scans.
Okay, more scanning, right? Let's do it. Grab the old scanner. Here's some batteries we can take a look at right over here. Oh, there's some right here too. Whole bunch of these seem inaccessible. Or way up there.
Looks like our next jade battery is up there.
Yes.
Up there.
What if I stuck the scanner on my jade bot?
The scanners and drones are on the same network. We could grab the data remotely. Good idea, Commander.
How convenient that Interia, the operating system for every single piece of equipment ever, immediately communicates with each other, like seamless interface. It's an amazing thing. The console contains an experimental seamless interface, which allows the user to take remote control over the Jade bot while in the facility. Well, let's load the scanner firmware onto the... So, like, we very much have, like, that technology thing here that, definitely rankles some people. Rankles me too, but, I don't know. Like, no getting away from it. Okay. Let's go check out these batteries over here. Give them a scan. And we actually have to scan a whole bunch, right? We're going to fill the green bar, and it fills up less with each scan than one might expect.
Let me tell you what bothers me. This whole time, not a single shred of evidence Anka's targeting these facilities.
You were the one who pointed us here. You saying you were wrong?
I know what I heard. Anka's definitely up to something.
You've been working with June all these years. You had no idea she was playing around with dragon magic?
I knew it had something to do with dragons. But this? No way.
Alright, well, I guess we're going to find out, Mai. It is interesting that Mai is kind of our canary in the coal mine when it comes to something more maybe happening here than we previously thought. Because you wouldn't think that would be her. You think that would be, Marjorie or Gorik or someone else.
Real close to a usable sample size.
We need to go through another little tunnel.
It's more satisfying than a foolproof sample size.
You really gotta get out more.
I get out all the time. It's where the bugs are.
What?
He's an entomologist.
And as you know, a published expert in draconology. Oh, and magic waveforms too.
So, you're not just an expert on dragons, but bugs and magic?
And my powers of deduction are leading me into a promising career as a crime-solving detective.
All right, take it easy. Let's let the commander focus.
I am surprised by the people who don't like Gorik. If I'm being 100% honest, like I find him very difficult, like to not like. I think he's a lot of fun, but some folks don't like him, I guess. Whatever. Different strokes for different folks. All right, more batteries. Oh, now I forgot where I am. I am not the best Jadebot pilot, I guess. We need to get in there, but I think this is a window. Oh, no, we can't get in there this way. Okay. So we should be able to finish up the green bar with a couple of them in here. Oh, there we go. Alright, now we just got to get back. Let's see, what's the fastest way back? Is it this way? I think it's this way, actually. Alright guys, I did things.
Final scan's coming through. Now I just need to compare it to... Gorik, check this.
Timey? Timey, you look ill. You should...
This... Timey, there's no way.
I know.
Somebody explain what's going on, please.
Okay, so dragon magic we've seen up to this point, all of it, has been in some way combinatorial.
Zaitan's magic layered with mortar moths, layered with pralks.
Or it's been that, but filtered. Oreen's magical signature.
But the margin of error bugged me, so I called the signatures of all the dragons, even Oreen. It was a perfect match.
A perfect match? What does that mean?
Pure dragon magic. I've made theoretical models, but never expected to see it.
I think it's time we had a conversation with June. Timey.
Intruder alert. Lab security has been
Bypass the
compromised.
lockdown. No, Anka.
Then it's just a distraction.
Timey, find June. We're about to be distracted.
What exactly, like, what sensor informed Gorik that Anka was not among the Eighth Blades? Besides the sensor of convenient exposition on the part of ArenaNet. Which isn't a sensor so much as a mechanism. But, like, how would he know that? Well, just the same, we got our hands full here. The mini questions we have for June are going to have to wait a little bit longer, I suppose.
I'll knock your screws in.
Time to do some real damage.
With that. We heal as one. I'll break you down.
Where's the big guy? Oh, he's coming with the next next batch here.
As one. You sick?
It's getting rough. So the problem with using like ranged here, oh, in fact I think I just did it, is A number of these guys have reflex. I probably never should have switched, honestly. A whole bunch of these dudes throw reflex around quite a bit. See that right there? That was a reflex skill. There we go.
Where is she?
Oh, are you asking me, Gorik? Are you wanting me to check the hologram controls to find out?
Hey, Commander, I've got you now. I'm patching everyone in. Commander, Tiny hasn't said what this is about, but I can interpret the waveforms on her screen better than most.
When exactly were you planning to tell us your Jade Tech empire runs entirely on dragon magic?
I understand your concern. You have experience in this, and an Elder Dragon's perspective, as do I. You? How?
The two are partnered. Jade Power was not solely June's idea.
Green? When did she tell you?
She didn't have to. She sounds tired, troubled.
That's why Suwon is under my protection, in a top-secret, state-of-the-art facility.
There is no facility in the world that could contain an Elder Dragon. You both know that.
Not against her will.
That's why Anka sent this diversion. June, she knows about Suwon. I don't know how, but she does.
Then I suppose it's time you all met face to face. Meet me at the reactor. I'll wave you in.
Aurene, you should hang back. If Anka shows up with that extractor.
Of course. You're right. I'll meet you there, but I'll hang back, just in case.
All right. So now, what it was that June was holding back is exposed, which is that, when there was conversation about what it's like to interact with an Elder Dragon, what does that mean, and everything, and June was kind of reserved, and not necessarily engaged with everyone else. Now we understand why, because she already has firsthand knowledge on this. She herself is directly in a relationship with an Elder Dragon, and so we remember from Icebrood Saga we dealt with other dragon champions, right? Because Ryland and Bram kind of filled those roles for Primordus and Jormak. June, in a manner of speaking, is Suwon's champion. Now, at no point is she called that. I don't know that that's necessarily how they want us to perceive that, but functionally speaking, within the story, that's what in fact is taking place here. All right, so we are actually going to insert a video break right here, and then we'll continue and move forward with going into the next lab. So we now understand. Look at that, people actually using these transporter things. So we have not yet tracked down Anka. Still working on trying to find her. We've searched a couple labs. But what have we gained? We now understand that all this Zunlai Jade tech is being powered by actual dragon magic, and that dragon magic appears to some degree to be coming directly from Suwon. So when we pick it up, we're going to head to the primary lab, the Yang reactor over here, where this process actually takes place. We're going to meet with June, possibly in person. Or, I think it's unclear. I don't think we actually meet with her in person. But we'll find out when we come back and see if we can put all this together and try and figure out what's up with Anka, because thus far she has not been where we expected, even when ambushed by Aetherblades. So that's where we will pick it up.